Surprise guest appearance by Drevin.
Yes.
Live in person.
Yes.
Where I can physically harm him.
No. Oh God. Chat save me.
Chat save me. I would never do that. I'm a pacifist.
I am being abused.
I don't believe in fighting. I'm like what's his name? I'm like Bash the Stampede.
What?
Yeah.
We're both shaking our head at each other right now. You can't see it, but it's very awkward.
Oh man, you don't remember Bash from Trigun?
Oh,
This guy! I swear.
No, I was so confused when he was trying to say it.
I'm going away.
I'm like shaking my head, like, am I supposed to get it? Am I supposed to understand what you're trying to say to me? And he's like,
I'm going. We're gonna send you back. You can't stay here.
Unbelievable.
We're gonna send you back wherever you came from.
I got kicked off the stream. I can't believe this.
Don't know Bash the Stampede.
Anyway,
it, man. You know they're coming. You know they're my voice cracked. I don't know why, but you know they're coming out with the new anime for Trigun. Yeah,
that's a surprise.
It's gonna be like people are guessing it's gonna be like a prequel, maybe, or just a completely different timeline or something. Because it's nothing like the original.
It's not gonna be a remake.
It's not gonna be a remake, no. Although a part of me wish it was. But I'm glad they didn't because they're doing 3D instead of 2D.
That makes sense. Oh, well, they're doing the Berserk route.
Yeah, but it's a little better.
Okay.
Because they actually have a studio that is known to do 3D and not like a studio that's like adapting to try and do 3D because it's cheaper.
Yeah, like because I remember Berserk being 3D and I'm like, ugh.
You're like, no.
Yeah. Manga it is.
You're like, no.
Manga it is.
Yeah, it's rough when you got a studio that's not known to do 3D, but they're trying to do it, just because.
They're just being cheap, like you said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, this studio is known to do 3D for their animation.
Well, I am looking forward to that. I mean, I doubt there's any like,
It's
like announcement to what time that would be.
I thought they actually did release a date. I think I gotta show you the trailer. I gotta show you the trailer because they did come out with a trailer for it.
I'm surprised I haven't heard about it.
Yeah.
But I guess I'm under a rock.
It was kind of under the radar a little bit. It just happened out of nowhere.
Oh, I see.
And I was like, oh, cool. And then I was like, oh, it's gonna be really different. I'm like, it's gonna be hard to not compare it to the original, but I'm gonna have to try and.
It may be its own thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to try and not compare it because I think it's gonna be a completely different story. It looks like it's maybe gonna be a prequel.
I mean,
because Vash doesn't have his same jacket and stuff like that.
I mean, it's better than as you said. Like, it may be for the best that they don't remake it.
Yeah, probably. It's gonna be hard to remake an anime like that for sure.
Yeah, no, there's always fear of backlash.
Yeah.
Because it didn't do it right, like the Berserk one,
Yeah.
Because the Berserk one.
Yeah, it was like no.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Like
not
no.
Close.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like you don't have the same the same creative minds anymore. Like you did 20, 30 years ago. Because there was like, Trigun was a really good dub.
Mm-hmm.
Like I prefer the dub over the sub on that one. Cowboy Bebop.
There's not a lot of dubs I prefer over sub, but
yeah,
there's a few, and one of them is that one, Trigun, and DBZ. I like DBZ a lot, like for their dub.
Yeah.
I'm just used to it. Like there's no way. Like,
yeah, the squeaky voice Goku. Yeah.
I can watch it, but awkward for me every time because it sounds like an old lady.
Because it is an old lady.
No, it's basically an old lady in the bathroom having a very rough time, and like I'm like, oh man, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I can't stop laughing. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it is rough. But yeah, like Cowboy Bebop. What's the other one? That was really good. There were so many good dubs back in the day. Now it's just kind of like
Bleach is pretty good too.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Bleach's subbing.
Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Oh, I only saw that sub.
You only saw it sub?
Yeah,
I like the dub.
Yeah, I only saw it sub, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah, man, you gotta. You can't watch the Netflix dub because there's a Netflix dub. You
There's
have to
a
watch.
different dub for Netflix.
Yeah, because for whatever reason, I guess Netflix just didn't want to pay people for the original dub.
So
I don't know.
So they just pay actors to do it.
They paid completely new people to redub it for
That's
no
weird.
absolute reason.
That's weird.
Yep. Super freaking weird.
You know,
So
that's
yeah, you would
weird.
have to like listen to the original, like the
Hunter
original.
x Hunter's one that I prefer sub over dub.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Even though it's played by like one person, the same lady. It's
yeah,
the
like,
same lady.
Yeah, like I know, which is funny, right? Ironic.
It's
but,
hilarious.
Like, there's some like some of the characters, like voice actors for that.
It must be tough, like trying to talk to yourself like that.
It has to be.
It has to be so hard.
It has to be very tough. Like
It's so cool though.
I respect it.
Yeah.
I respect it. I respect the hustle. I mean,
Yeah.
she's like 70 something, 80 something. Still
No.
doing it. Isn't she?
No, not the lady that plays Gon and Killua. No.
No, I was talking about Goku.
Oh, Goku. Yeah. Oh, yeah. She's.
Yeah, because she's
Oh,
been
yeah,
doing that since forever.
Man.
I think before we and you were even around.
Man, she's an OG at this point.
Yeah,
man.
she's an OG, dude.
She's an OG.
'Cause I think wasn't she doing like the original Dragon Ball?
I think she did.
Yeah, and that came out in like the late 80s.
I mean, I can see why, because I mean, her voice pitch is so low. You know, so
how is it still able to produce sound is beyond me. After all the screaming, like
I
my
don't
gosh.
know. That's actually. Yeah.
Same for the English voice actor for Goku, like this Super Saiyan 3 one.
Yeah.
Yeah. At some points you hear, like you hear the cracks of the voice.
The struggle.
Oh, like it's like he's like grating through grass, like glass or something. It's
He's
just
dying on the inside.
like he's like.
She's like, why is there a series like this where there's like a minute of yelling?
And then like there's like at one point I just watched it recently. There's at one point where he's on Super Saiyan 3 and he's like and, like he was so high like you might as well like crack like glass or something. I was like, oh my god, Rock Band Goku, let's go. Like man.
Oh my gosh.
Have you seen
Oh man.
the Ocean dub? The Ocean dub for Vegeta?
No.
There's like a on YouTube. There's like a Ocean dub of Vegeta where he is furious at Gohan, and when I say it is the most sickest thing, like that's the one dub, the one time instance where I'm like, okay, that was way better than the English dub. And it was the Ocean dub for Vegeta, like during that
man.
particular instance, because it was insane.
Yeah.
It was insane.
Yeah, I can't remember which dub was playing when it was like on Cartoon Network in Tsunami and stuff like that.
It had to be English, but
Well, I know it was English, but I just don't know which one, because there was like the one from Funimation, then there was the one from Ocean, and then I forgot if there was another one somewhere in between.
I think they used like all I remember is that it was Bruce Falconer for the music. They changed it later. I don't know why. I guess they didn't want to pay the guy anymore, but
Yeah. They're probably like, oh, it sounds like too early 90s, 2000s now.
I don't know why they would think that though. Because then you're like literally regressing back to like very old Japanese music, like for Kai.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, I thought that was super weird. That was a turnoff for me too. I didn't like it all too much. I was like, I don't know how to feel.
The censorship really.
Yeah, in the censorship too.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I get it. It was on Saturdays. Like, I remember it coming on Saturday morning cartoon when that was a thing. Now we're really old now.
Yeah. Our oldness is showing.
Yeah. Now we're really in old territory. But yeah. I mean, I get why they censored it. Like, I get it.
I was a little upset with I remember being hyped for Kai and then seeing what happened, which was like just the censorship of it all, and then the music. I think like they even changed some of the lines. I just thought it was too much.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was just turned off by it. And I think they even skipped. Didn't they skip like a few arcs as well? I don't think they did.
I think they skipped a bunch of filler.
Was it filler?
I think it was mainly filler, yes.
Oh, you mean like a bunch of sitting around waiting? Like,
I think it was just like random, like one-off episodes or episodes that had nothing to do with the main story.
How much you want to bet they got rid of the Marin one?
I can't remember, but maybe they did, because I think there was like some kind of what's that dude's name? He was like in the movie, like his name was.
Ginyu?
No, Garlic or something. He was like that.
Oh, Garlic Jr.
Yeah, he was like that. Yeah, that little dude.
Yeah, I remember him. Dead Zone.
Yeah, I think they got rid of some of that filler, because I believe there was some filler with him or something in the original run.
Yeah.
Of the show.
Yeah, I thought people liked Garlic Jr.'s arc, but I think it was hit or miss. I do think Garlic Jr.'s was hit or miss. I guess they got rid of a lot of the. There's a lot of filler between the Android arc as well.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot, like, just stuff packed into it.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it because they were, like, trying to catch up to the material, but they didn't want to catch up to it right away, so.
No, I get it. I can understand why they would,
Out of, like, probably any series, Dragon Ball filler is, like, not as unbearable as, like, Bleach.
Yeah.
Bleach or Naruto. That's like the two.
Man, honestly, I know Naruto was bad, but Bleach, I feel like a good 50% of that show was filler.
Yeah.
Like, man, it felt like every single time that it would ramp up, all of a sudden it was a filler arc just for episodes. Like, I'm talking like
Naruto got bad towards the end.
So I heard.
What, I'm gonna say like 2014 Naruto actually ended, like the part 2.
Mm-hmm.
And they were still going in the anime for like another, I don't know, like 2 or 3 years after the series finished in the manga. Like it was stupid. I stopped watching it. I was like,
that's the thing. I stopped watching Naruto too because I did feel like it got a little more convoluted as time goes on.
Yeah.
I still think that they should have ended it at the Pain arc.
Well, that's what I've always told you.
Yeah, I've always felt that way. I always felt like after the Pain arc, after Naruto did what he needed to do.
Dude, it was perfect. It was literally the perfect arc. I mean, you literally had one of the most popular, recognizable elderly characters in that series die.
Yep.
Right? Like, so you had that level of sacrifice, in your story arc, which is very typical hero's journey structure kind of thing. So you already had like your mentor dying, which gives you a plethora of reasons to want to continue on and defeat the enemy and all that stuff. And then the village finally acknowledged him as a hero instead of looking at him as a monster, because that was like the big thing in Naruto.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool.
Like it was it was structured like as the perfect ending.
Yeah, I think the only thing that stops it from being truly 100% perfect is the fact that my guy and his team wasn't there.
Well, I mean,
and the only reason why I say that is because I didn't really know until I looked back, but even Itachi alluded to that, just how strong Might Guy was, even like way back in Naruto Part 1.
Yeah.
And with Guy pretty much being the strongest ninja up until that point, you know, you would have to nerf him. You would have to nerf his moment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, the thing is like, when Shippuden happened, basically the Dragon Ball Z effect happened. That's when Kishi really was like showing his DBZ membership.
Yeah, no.
He was showing his DBZ membership. He was like, Naruto Sasuke.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like Naruto Part 1 was just so unique. And
dude,
so good.
It was great, man.
Like,
I'm not even bugged that it's almost a carbon copy of Hunter x Hunter for like the beginning of it.
Honestly, it's so funny because I watched Naruto first, I would like think that Hunter x Hunter copied it, but no, that's wrong because Hunter x Hunter came out way before Naruto.
Well, actually, they both got serialized around the same year.
Oh, they did?
I think it was both 99.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
They were both taking looks at each other.
I think they probably had the same editor, or if not the same editor, the editors at that time knew each other or something.
Oh my god.
Or that
and
was
they
just
approved the same thing, like the same.
Or that was just the way, like, that was what they were looking for at that period of time. So the editors were like, oh, okay, yeah, like this structure's great. Oh yeah, this structure's great. They're kind of the same, but they're also different, but they're pretty much the same.
Yeah,
if you just replace characters and
like that's funny, honestly, that you say that, because like, first of all, Hunter x Hunter is really good.
Oh, dude.
Yeah. Okay.
Dude, have you? Oh yeah, didn't I tell you?
Hunter x hiatus, but
no,
Hunter x Hunter is good.
But no, didn't I tell you that? Not Kishi. What's his name?
I know he's been writing like this, doing this Twitter stuff.
Yeah, no, Togashi. Yeah, he's been drawing like panels on Twitter.
Yeah, I've seen it. I think you did show me that, and I've been seeing it ever since because I did follow him. Like once you did point it out.
Yeah, once he made a new Twitter. Yeah.
Yeah, and like.
Yes.
It's looking interesting, but man, it's gonna take forever to see that in anime form.
We're probably not gonna get it until next year.
Yeah, no.
I'd be shocked if they say by the end of the year, like in December, we're getting like 10 new chapters or something.
Yeah, man. I really do like Hunter x Hunter a lot.
Dude,
like,
it's one of the best shonens for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That's still in Shonen Jump.
Now here's
yeah.
I know we're getting off topic here, but there's another one. There's an anime I've been watching called Overlord. I've been watching Overlord for years.
Overlord.
Have you seen it?
Well, that's the guy. That's the isekai, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one where the guy like is a skull dude and stuff like that.
And I was like, bunch of minions and stuff.
Yeah, I was into it when the first season came out, and then I was reading it, and then I felt uncomfortable reading it because there was this weird arc where there was like 2 lizards.
Oh, it's
the lizard people. I'm like, yo, what am I reading?
Oh
no.
Let's just say it was toned down in the anime. Okay.
Oh, thank goodness, because it really needed to. I was like, yo, wait a minute. I'm like, okay, this...
Yeah, yes.
That escalated real quickly.
Yeah, okay, so...
that really took off.
I'm pretty sure everybody, at least that has watched Overlord, knows at least about that particular scene. And it was toned down, for sure.
Yeah. I got past that, and then I think I got in the manga somewhere. They were introducing new characters or something, and I was like,
yeah, like it's so you are not caught up to season 4 yet.
No, I'm not caught up with season the latest season now.
It's really picking up, like really.
Oh, I gotta watch it then.
Yeah, it's so good. I think it's one of the best, if not the best, world building anime I've seen. You know, I think one of the best isekais, period, because in the flood of isekais that are out there today, that is just awful.
Yeah, just awful.
And copy and paste, like, cookie cutter stuff.
We're looking at you, SAO.
Oh my god. SAO's the one that started it all.
It did. It did. I swear that show would have been good if they just didn't skip through that freaking they skipped way too much.
I hate that show came out, because the moment SAO came out, all the anime creators out there saw
Isekai.
Kirito and was like, "Oh my god, I need to make one."
I
And
need to do it.
it's just a big boom happened, like the baby booms back in the
Oh.
day, and it's just still booming.
It's
They're
going.
still like pushing it out, even though we're sick of them. We want the babies to stop coming because it's awful. It's
awful.
terrible.
It's bad.
The isekais need to stop.
It's
And I
pretty
like,
bad.
I like the concept. I like the concept.
It's pretty cool. I mean, it's so simple.
Yeah, it's so simple, but like so interesting at the same time. But there's not a lot of interesting plots involving that.
I think that's the problem. Is like it's not a lot of interesting things going. If anything, they need to do is like I don't know, like a social commentary on like isekais or close to it, like like, oh, like what if people do and like prefer to go into a virtual world than the real world, what would happen to the real, kind of like a Player One scenario, I guess. Like that movie kind of had a little bit of a social commentary on that, like if people were more interested in going to the virtual world and everything around them in reality was just terrible, you know,
man, like,
or not ideal or whatever.
Yeah, like
Stuff like that. And then the characters are just so bland and just stupid.
my top two favorite isekais, at least for like the modern era, is Overlord, and the next one being ReZero. Because I like ReZero a lot.
Yeah.
Like, it's unique. It's different. There's not many times where you see like a permadeath scenario when it comes to anime. You see it in gaming, like with I think it's Elden Ring. Sorry.
Yeah, unless you're a Gamiga kill, then you just kill every character, every other episode.
Yeah, man.
Which
like,
makes it meaningless to watch.
It's so sick. And like the thing with like the ReZero is again the world building. I like world building a lot.
Yeah, I have to force myself to watch that show because for whatever reason I just don't click with it. I don't know why, it just doesn't hold my attention long enough. It's not that it's bad. I never like every time I talk about it, I'm like, it's not that it's bad. It's just I struggle just giving my full attention to it, and I don't know why.
I can respect it. I can respect that opinion. And the only reason why is because it's slow. Overlord's slow. Overlord's slow too. Like a lot of world building stuff.
But I don't know. Maybe it's just the character is just slightly more compelling in Overlord. I don't know.
Yeah, Subaru. Honestly, it takes him a minute to really grow on you because he's very like when I'm talking very slow to like evolve.
Yeah, it's super slow.
He's very slow to evolve, but I've grown to actually like Subaru. Although in the beginning I thought he was annoying.
Yeah.
You know. He's not Asta annoying. Yeah. Which is funny, by the way, because even though I hated the beginning of Black Clover, I actually don't mind it now. I can actually watch it and be okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I can actually watch it and be okay. I do think it's a little basic, but
yeah. It's not a whole lot going on with it. Like it's not like Hunter x Hunter going like top tier freaking brain.
No. Honestly, I thought Black Clover was just a copycat for the longest time until it became its own little thing.
Yeah.
Which it is now. I can confidently say that it is its own thing, but it takes a while for it to branch out and not be the same as the shonen of the past, like Bleach, Naruto, DBZ, where there's like always like a power scaling sort of situation.
Yeah.
I feel like the creator must have gotten they gotten comfortable enough with their world that they're able to branch out and be a little different.
Right.
I appreciate that. Appreciate that.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, I don't mind it if they keep it simple because right now Shonen Jump over the years have really been focused on a lot of horror stuff, like a lot of like if you go through like their like most recent stuff, it's either like gag mangas or like horror based stuff, and they've added in a couple of kind of light romantic stuff, but yeah, a lot of times it's like a lot of horror stuff, like your Chainsaw Man, your what's the other one, There was like a bunch. There was like one they canceled. There was like a Red Riding Hood one that was like pretty freaking horror-ish. Like it was pretty like gruesome and like brutal. Like those fight scenes, I remember that. And there was like something like sheer something. I forgot what it's called. But yeah.
It's a fad, huh?
Yeah. I think that they really like it's like with your what's the other one? Well, it's not really horror, but it was Neverland. Kind of like they kind of like lean.
Is that the sad one?
Yeah, it's pretty messed up.
Yeah, I don't know much about it. I've seen it, but I heard some stuff. I was a little like, oh man, I don't know.
It's pretty messed up. It's like it's and that's what I mean. Like a lot of their stories lately have been more towards like this kind of gritty kind ofness. Like it's it's kind of like dang. Like this is just messed up.
Man, I wish we were having this talk like when I wish I was at my if I had my PC with me, I wish I could be streaming too, because like I know some of my viewers would be interested in this nerd talk. We may need to create a series or something. Okay, I'm getting like an idea. Like maybe we should just do like a collab like every week or so, just make a nerd talk. Just talking about different like animes, like different topics, and discussing like what we think on a certain thing, because like
yeah, when
we just went on for like 30 minutes straight.
Oh yeah, no, you know how we are, dude. Like when we were talking about Boba Fett, we were like just talking forever, dude. When Boba Fett was coming out, oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yep. I remember that. I'm like, dude, this Boba Fett booty.
Man, they still did. I'm pretty sure you guys have seen it, but like.
Just spoil it to them. It's a mercy killing for them.
It's a mercy killing.
It's just
they did my boy Cad so bad.
They did him so bad, man.
I don't understand it.
He's coming back. There's no way he's dead.
I don't think he's dead.
He's not dead. I mean, have you seen? Oh my gosh, I haven't even finished Kenobi. I'm honestly kind of checked out of the whole.
Oh, you didn't finish it?
No, I'm checked out, dude. I'm like, I just can't. I can't do it.
It's all right. It did okay.
I can't do it.
Yeah, like it ended okay. They concluded something.
I don't like how. I mean, I haven't watched it, but I've seen like small clips, small images of what has occurred. Too many people getting impaled with swords.
Oh.
And freaking surviving. I do not like this. It makes Qui-Gon look like a punk. It makes him look like a punk.
The only thing, like, their reasoning behind that is because they of the dark side.
No.
That's their reasoning.
My reasoning is no. Get out with that.
Like dark side users have anger.
Dark side users have. They're able to.
But,
no, it's not a good enough excuse.
It does.
I'm more angry than you. I will survive. Like, all right, well, let me put a bullet in your head. Will you come back now?
It does cheapen the
it does.
lightsaber.
It does.
What's the word I'm looking for?
The potency of dying from it, because it's plasma. It's literally plasma.
Yeah, like literally, like it's like I feel like in the past, if you got touched by a lightsaber, you lost at least a limb.
You would die.
You could either die or lost a limb.
You would die or lost a limb, yes.
Okay, like your lightsaber had to connect with somebody else's lightsaber if you did not want to get chopped off.
Bleeding out, I understand if no one bleeds out because it's gonna cartelize it like instantly. But
that's also a good point. Like technically speaking, like when they do get stabbed, like
no, because Qui-Gon died the same way. See what I mean? They make him look like a punk, dude. He died.
I wish I could refute it. I really do.
He died like a punk. They made him die like a punk. Cause now everyone.
He needed to die. He needed to die in order for Obi-Wan to teach Anakin.
No, he didn't need to die.
Or maybe.
Because that's what he needed. Anakin needed a father figure, and Obi-Wan was not going to be his father figure. He was just going to be like his older brother.
Man, I was about to say something.
And that was the downfall of Anakin, because that's why they called the Duel of the Fates, because it was the fate of the child, not actually the fate of the duel. It was the fate of the duel, but it was more of the fate of the child from the duel that was happening.
Man, you just reminded me of something, but I can't even say it because you haven't finished the show yet. And you gotta finish the show before I can say anything.
What, the Kenobi?
Yeah, Kenobi.
I mean, I've heard reviews and I've heard things, so it doesn't matter. I don't have any interest to.
You're not gonna finish it.
I have no interest in finishing it.
So you want me to say it?
Go ahead. It's not gonna bug me. I am not going back to watch it.
Well, well, spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. I'm giving you guys 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So basically, Qui-Gon shows up at the end of Kenobi.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, he's now a Force ghost, and
of course he is. It's always been hinted like that.
It's always been hinted
for years.
But it is finally confirmed, and
he still died like a punk.
He did, admittedly. And the thing with this is that what makes it interesting is Obi-Wan could not see him for the longest time because he was still conflicted about Anakin.
Yeah,
but
he was still being an emo.
Yeah, but in that duel between Vader and Kenobi, which is also very interesting when you look at the in-depth analysis of it all, it helped give Kenobi closure. Because basically, he felt so much guilt for pretty much handicapping his best friend and leaving him to die. But Anakin pretty much, there's a weird transition between Vader and Anakin where Anakin's like, you didn't kill Anakin Skywalker, and then Vader comes out and he's like, I did. Like that. So it's that weird dynamic that helped Obi-Wan move on from that fight. And also it was interesting because Obi-Wan ended up winning that fight. He actually ended up winning against Darth Vader. And he won because he switched up his style, just like he did against Maul.
Yeah.
Because, in Rebels, he went up against Maul. And Maul thought he would be his usual style, where it's like this. But he switched it to Qui-Gon. Qui-Gon style, and then Maul went in for the same exact move that he used to get Qui-Gon, and he counted it perfectly.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a foreshadowing, I guess, to that. To what happened,
yeah, why he switched up styles. Yeah. I don't know. I just don't like it.
I get it. No, I definitely get it. There were some things about the Kenobi show I think was just dumb. Really, it was the Reva stuff. Don't get me wrong. I don't dislike the actress or anything. It was the character. I feel like the character was poorly written.
Character was dumb.
Yeah, the character just
kept getting impaled too much and not dying from it.
I just felt like she just wasn't given enough time to actually grow on it. Oh my god. She scared me so much.
She got you good.
Watch it get scary.
What do you want?
So tomorrow
No.
I am gonna get up and just go to Dee's class.
All right.
At 8 o'clock.
Go.
I'm gonna go.
Be gone.
And I'm gonna drop her off this gift.
Goodbye.
Okay.
You foul creature.
Oh my goodness.
All jokes. All jokes.
All jokes. All jokes.
All jokes.
Oh my
but yeah,
gosh.
she I don't know, dude. I don't know, man. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. They're like, oh, she's like, oh, Vader. I know who Vader's real identity is. It's like, how do you know? And why would he tell you?
Yeah. So I was thinking that too.
Like, why?
Oh, I guess you don't know.
No.
I guess I might as well say it then. All right, so basically Reva was there in the beginning. Right?
Oh yeah, when the temple first got raided,
yes.
Right?
And that's how she knows. That's how she knows. And what's funny is that Vader knows that she knows. And
why didn't he kill her?
He didn't kill her because he was using her to get to Obi-Wan.
That's stupid.
Yep. But
That's the most stupidest thing I've ever heard.
yeah, but yeah, basically, him and the Grand Inquisitor used Reva in order to draw out Kenobi because they knew that she would be so into her own hatred that she would, go after Kenobi because she blamed Kenobi for what Anakin did.
That's also dumb.
Yeah, but that was their reasoning.
I blame you for something that you have no control over.
I don't understand it. Oh, yeah, and basically she did get impaled by Anakin back then.
Yep.
She got impaled
And
by
still
Anakin
lived.
then, and then she got impaled by Darth Vader.
And still lived.
Yeah, it still lived.
Yeah. Makes Qui-Gon look like a punk, huh?
All I gotta say is
He
plot.
he just got one punched man, and that was it.
I really wish they did explain it. Like, she had like a power where she could read minds. Like, and I got that. I understood that. But
They should just explain that she is a mutant in the Star Wars universe. She's an X-Men inside of a Star Wars universe because her healing factor is insane.
well, not to say that. I know there were some dark side users that have that healing factor.
Yeah, but it's never been probably completely established in the movies, and
Yeah, it's not really established in the movies. More like in the comics and legends and stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
which
I
have
know
all that stuff has been nixed.
I know Force Fire, for example, that wasn't even shown at all in any media.
Yep.
Until Rebels, I think. Until because remember when Ezra and Ahsoka, they were in the world between worlds, and the Palpatine, he reached out with the fire to go after them. You seen that, right?
It's been a while, but yeah, I think I remember. I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah,
because after a while, Rebels becomes very formulaic. It's like, oh, all right, episode begins. We're gonna steal someone's suit. It's gonna be either a stormtrooper, an Imperial officer of some sort, and then we're gonna sneak in somewhere. After we sneak in somewhere, we're gonna get into trouble, and we have to figure it out. Episode over. Next episode. Okay, so now we're gonna get someone's suit. We're gonna disguise ourselves. We're gonna get somewhere that we need to
the
go.
Rebels, they have to sneak around.
They have to sneak around constantly, every single episode. They do not have any other.
I don't blame people. Now, look, I don't blame people for disliking Rebels.
It just
becomes very rough start. It's very kiddie-ish.
Yeah.
It's very
It's very formulaic.
Like I said, very formulaic in the beginning.
In the beginning, and
I think it really starts picking up steam by the time it hit. But by the time they get to the Dark Side Pyramid, where Maul and Ahsoka is.
Well, it definitely picks up when Vader shows up.
Yes.
And I think that was season, I want to say 3.
I also was very interested in Ezra, kind of flirting with the dark side.
Yeah.
Because it's interesting because it's kind of in his name, Bridger, Ezra Bridger.
Right. He's
he can be a bridge between the light and the dark. He's not the chosen one,
right,
but he can be a bridge. So I always thought that was a little interesting, but they kind of canned it before it even got started.
I know they kind of flip flopped it. They kind of played with it, and they were like, eh.
I was a little upset with that because they could have gone a lot of ways with that.
It would have been a lot more interesting. Yes.
Yeah.
It would have been way more compelling.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah. Now Ezra does get interesting by the last season.
Oh yeah, the last season it picks up really good. The major death in that season.
Yes.
Man, it's crazy.
Oh man.
That was good. That was probably the best episode out of the whole series. I was like, oh, my feels.
That hurts me because that character.
Yeah.
I really like that character.
Yeah.
I feel like I can't. I don't. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. You got 3 seconds. Okay. All right. So here it is. Basically, man, Kanan is one of my all-time favorite Jedi. All-time. And not because he's the most powerful, not because he's the most wise. It's because he's the most realistic. You know? He has troubles, you know? He's not he's like your everyday guy that got put into that situation.
Right. Yeah, he's not your was it I guess the traditional
Yeah, he's not the traditional
dogmatic Jedi where don't have emotions, don't have feelings, suppress those things.
And
Bad.
It's funny that you say that.
Bad.
There's a theory where, at the end of that episode where before he dies, he gains his sight.
Yeah.
The theory is that basically he gained his sight because he became one with the Force while alive. Not like where Qui-Gon, where he's like one with the Force and he's dead. He became one with the Force when he was alive, and because of that, for that split moment in time, Kanan was the strongest being. Like at that moment, in that particular moment, he was the strongest being because he was able to unlock the Force. But of course, afterwards,
he still died.
Yeah, so.
And he didn't get impaled.
He got blew up to a bunch of little tiny
So
bits.
what I'm getting from this is that we need to blow up what's her face.
No. Oh boy, Reva, I'm so sorry.
Gotta blow you up. You gots to go. You're too strong. You get impaled way too many times.
I honestly
and not die from it.
They just, first of all, it's called Obi-Wan Kenobi.
True.
Okay, it's
Very
called
true.
Obi-Wan Kenobi, and nobody was expecting to see Reva as part of like sharing the screen with Obi-Wan constantly.
True.
Okay, that's the first problem. Second problem is they didn't like slowly introduce her to us. Like for instance, Ahsoka was actually widely hated at first.
Right. No, she was.
Everyone
hated her.
Yeah.
Everyone hated her guts.
Yeah, and I remember it too.
She was annoying.
Yeah, people
and she
did
thought
not like young Ahsoka at all.
She thought she knew all that and blah blah blah. Like she was so stuck up. She thought she knew it all.
And she eventually becomes one of the most fleshed out characters in all of Star Wars.
Right.
And all they need to do when it came to Reva was that slowly just, work her way there. She may be disliked at first, but she won't be so unbearable. She won't, like, at least to the point where people would not want her on the screen. And I feel like just having her share the screen with Obi-Wan, especially at the ending moments, like you didn't see it, but pretty much during his fight with Darth Vader, right when it starts getting good, all of a sudden it cuts to Reva chasing Luke.
Oh gosh.
Okay.
Chasing.
Yeah, because she was basically at Luke's, little
That's
hut.
another thing I didn't like. I didn't like how they were dangerously close to, like, Tatooine, because that was, like, the planet that no one would go to. Anakin wouldn't even think about going to that planet because he hates sand.
Yeah.
It's rough and coarse and it's everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, he would never want to go there. Like, he would never even dream of going back there because of the pain and the hurt and all that stuff he went through, to leave that planet, So he would, it was perfect. It was a perfect reason why to bring Luke there and keep him protected there because, they didn't want the twins to be together or under, the Empire, like on another planet somewhere, like with Leia, right?
Yeah, and now that you say that,
it was the perfect deterrent.
Yeah, it was a perfect deterrent. And
they're like, oh, let's go to Tatooine. There's something weird going here. It's like, what the? Like, no. Go away.
And I think a person brought this up, a little YouTuber, where he was afraid that Luke may have saw Reva with a lightsaber while she was chasing him. Because if that was the case, then he wouldn't be asking the questions that he was in A New Hope.
Right.
About the the lightsaber and everything, but apparently his back was turned the entire time, so he just didn't see it.
Yeah.
But thankfully that was the case because it would have been a huge plot hole. But regardless, the constant cutting between an awesome fight between Kenobi and Darth Vader to her just chasing Luke, which meant nothing because we know that he's fine.
Right.
It just felt like a time waster, and the dark scenes don't help. Like I don't know why that show was so unnecessarily dark. It was like the tent, you see that like we have it currently like a TV there, and it's just dark.
Yeah.
You can't even see anything. It was actually pretty bad. The fight, it was really dark.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just, It's just, to me, it was like that series where it's like, okay, you guys are trying to add in things, but necessarily it's just not going to add much, and the things that you do add are just going to be a little wonky.
I just think the best hope for Star Wars right now is going to be The Mandalorian Season 3. Because out of everything coming out of Star Wars these days, The Mandalorian has been a nice surprise.
Yeah. It's been really, really good.
Yeah, like that's like been the Boba Fett series that we all wanted.
Man, I don't like the fact they put Mandalorian episodes in that series, so now you're forced to watch
It's
Boba Fett. Like, you have no choice now. You have to watch that series for the next season.
that's why they did it, man.
Yeah.
That's why they did it. And you know what
It's
sucks?
so grimy.
What sucks is those two episodes are some of the best episodes of Star Wars that in recent memory.
Yes, sir.
Okay, especially episode 6 with like Luke training Grogu. Like that is like top tier content that you would not have expected. But
Yep.
it is like some of the best Star Wars that Star Wars has to offer because it literally is a payoff for everybody that has watched Star Wars.
Yep.
But,
Exactly.
but
See, and
the
that's
show
what
itself is
and that's what I mean. It's like, to me, if you're gonna add things in between when it comes to Star Wars, make it meaningful. And I feel like with Kenobi, it's just not that meaningful. Like, you can skip it and literally be fine. You can just, like, not even think about it. You can just be like, okay, I don't have to know that Darth Vader and Obi-Wan fought in between episode 3 and whatever, getting to episode 4, or between episode 3 and 4. Like, I can just go from 3 to 4 and be like, oh, well, they haven't seen each other for a really long time. Like,
I think the only thing I guess with that is just like if Reva shows up somewhere else, you wouldn't know who she was or anything.
but the thing is that her character is just so forced in, you're not gonna really care
yeah, her
when
character
she
at the
does
moment,
show up.
Like,
I would rather see, what's his name, from the recent EA game.
oh, you're talking about Cal Kestis.
Yeah, I would rather see that dude
Yeah, that's something to be-
interjected in the live action stuff than her.
I would have loved to see Cal Kestis.
See, right?
I would have loved to see.
But that's what I'm talking about. Like, it's
Star
really,
Killer too.
yeah, Star Killer, yeah. Like, it's
Although it would have to be. In
it's
there
really
for-
hard to do, but at the same time, it's not that hard to interject things that are worth putting in there in between episodes, making it meaningful, and not just like putting characters there just to, place them there. It's kind of like with Kenobi. It reminds me so much of Solo. I'm like, no one asked for this. I don't need
I didn't
this.
watch it.
Exactly, you didn't even watch it. I regret watching it. Like,
All I
no
know
one,
is about the Rising Dawn something, and I was like,
dude.
and I'm like, what
And
is
that's
this?
not, and I don't think that's gonna come to fruition for quite some time.
I kept hearing rumblings that the Rising Dawn may be the cause of this in Kenobi, and I was like, man, do I need to watch Solo to understand this?
It still hasn't came up yet in any like significant way. I think they were going to go somewhere with it, but because Solo bombed, which was Star Wars' first movie that bombed, I think maybe they just kind of course corrected and not really think about it all that much. But yeah, it was a movie that I was like, dang, I didn't need to see this. I didn't ask for this. It didn't add anything that I necessarily needed to know. I was fine not knowing. Like, I was okay. I was good. Because the way they executed it, I was like, I was good not knowing. Like, I was fine. I don't need to know. Oh, man. This one makes me so mad. And so far, no one has disputed this. This is another spoiler, by the way, for anyone. Although it's a mercy killing for you guys, because you should never watch Solo. Don't do it.
Spoiler, 1, 2, 3.
Don't do it anyway. Don't watch Solo. But the reason why Solo got his name is because when Solo was trying to enlist for the Empire as like a pilot or whatever, or as a whatever I don't know, cadet or whatever for the Empire, I guess he didn't have a last name. So the imperial officer that was like enlisting him, it was like an enlisting office kind of thing in the like spaceport or whatever. So he's like, "What's your last name?" And he's like, I don't really got like the last name. Like he was like, eh. And so the guy that was like enlisting him, he was like, Han Solo, since you're by yourself.
No.
I'm paraphrasing, but that's what basically happened.
No way.
Yeah, dude,
man.
it was terrible.
So why can't it just be Solo regularly? It could have just like
That's what I'm saying.
Like, there's no reason for you to come up with a reason for his last name being. Do you
Yeah.
hear a reason why they're calling Anakin Skywalker? It's
Right.
because he walks on the sky.
Right.
Like,
Or did he come from the sky and enter his mother, and then his mother
yeah, like,
gave birth to him? Or
come on,
he was
man.
He was a sky child that enters in people.
Yeah, like, come on, man.
Yeah, but no, that's what I mean. That's actually, you know what, that I think gonna help me, I guess, articulate what I'm trying to say. It's like they overdo it with trying to explain things of why it got to the way that it is. Like it gets too convoluted. It's too excessive. Like,
Yeah,
oh, we have to
excessive.
explain all these things. There's so many things that were in between, and this is how that happened, and we gotta explain all of it.
Yeah.
It's like you don't have to like the beauty of Star Wars, especially the first 3 movies, is that there was so much mystical mysticism,
Elements,
yeah,
yeah.
mystical elements, to it. Like we didn't really have to know, like, oh, why is there the Force, like scientifically, like why, later Luke or George, let's say George did explain it, which was like, okay, like, but do we really need to know why there was like midichlorians and all that? Not really.
Right.
No.
No. It
And
was
that's-
unnecessary.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean now. Now I know what I was trying to say. Like, it's just too excessive. Like, do I really need this? No. Kind of thing, Like, it's not gonna add anything too significant. That's why I couldn't get through Kenobi, because I'm just like, it's too excessive. They're trying to explain. They're trying to put in too many puzzle pieces in a puzzle that doesn't need these pieces. Like, you can leave these pieces out, and it's still perfectly fine watching it from start to finish.
Well, now that you say that, and this will be my last note. With Ahsoka, the new series,
Yeah.
it's gonna go either one of 2 ways. The first way is they're gonna follow basically gonna try to find Ezra, because Ezra's pretty much MIA right now with Thrawn. Those are 2 big hitters right now that are just gone. We don't know what happened to them. We don't know where they are.
Yeah.
They had to be gone, obviously, for the events of Star Wars to unfold.
Yep.
But now they're just gone. We don't know where they are, and Ahsoka's been searching for him for the longest time. And I think Ahsoka may end up going that route and maybe find Thrawn, and then Thrawn will probably be the next big bad guy after Palpatine.
Which would be amazing, because I know a lot of people are asking for that. I know I am.
Yeah, I would love that. Like,
Yeah, because
Thrawn's great.
Yeah, because I know people love the books that came out like in the 90s and stuff, where it was about Thrawn and all that.
And I think in Legends, like when he went to the unknown regions, I think that he had an army or something.
Yeah.
I believe. So it would be nice. Like, it would also be nice to see how Ezra has changed, because he's been gone for years now. Like, when we last saw him, he was still kind of a kid, but by now he's a full-grown adult. We don't even know what happened to him.
Yeah, he's way older than Luke, and
Yeah, exactly. He's way older than Luke.
yeah. He's
So
way
it's
older
like
than Luke.
weird, like, man, how is he gonna end up looking? Like, how is he gonna be? Is he gonna be twisted? Like, is he gonna be like the same old Ezra? We don't know. And then the last thing with Ahsoka is it's possible that they may explore again the world between worlds. And the reason why I say this is because of 2 reasons. One, when you see the logo on Ahsoka,
Yeah.
there's a bunch of like space and hieroglyphics and stuff there, and all that stuff was there during the World Between Worlds episode.
Yep.
People have been trying to link that together. And secondly, is because, like I said, Ezra Bridger. He's the bridge between everything and what people are thinking. And this is just highly, highly speculative. Is that they may use the World Between Worlds to retcon the new sequels.
I hope so. It'd be the best thing they could do ever, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
I don't think it's gonna happen either. I don't.
The
Like,
people.
it is Filoni who is doing this, but
Yeah, but the people that are in charge that pull the most weight are still in charge,
yeah.
and I don't think that's gonna happen.
I don't think it's gonna happen. I think that's a little too highly. I think that's too
Optimistic.
optimistic.
I really wish, though, that'd be great.
Like, you know, the sequels are basically like a another dimension sort of thing. Like
Yeah.
like, you know, it's not actual canon,
Yeah.
but I don't think they'll do
Because
it.
I mean, a lot of things in Star Wars, if you think about it, are like a lot of separate canon. You know, like you have movie canon, then you have, you know, animated canon or
Mhm.
Clone Wars canon, and then you have, you know, the new stuff that's coming in that's canon, but you know, too much excessive junk that you can just
Yeah.
you don't need it. But
I really do wish they did bring back Legends, but that's a story for another day. But yeah, I think that
poor Legends.
poor Legends. But yeah, like Ahsoka, I think that one's gonna be the most interesting
Yeah.
show to come out because we don't know where they're gonna go with it. Either way, I'm invested at this point.
Oh yeah, for sure. And that's the thing. It's like you can tell new stories in Star Wars. It's just you just have to do it in a certain way where it's just not too excessive, and you don't have to fit every puzzle piece to the puzzle with Star Wars. Like you really don't.
No.
I mean, if you even look at the original trilogy, there's a lot of things that are just like, how did that happen? Like, how did that? Like, what? You know, you look at it, you're like, that shouldn't have happened, and it's just like, you know, don't think about it. Just let it be this mysterious thing, and let the character, you know, enjoy the characters for who they are, and you know, like they're good characters. You know, good characters, good story. You know, everything's not gonna always line up all the time. You know, look at the prequels. You know, you're just like, oh, that's weird.
Yeah, like it's so funny that the prequels are now like kind of like applauded because we all know how it went when they first came out. Everybody
hated them.
You know,
They hated
which is
them.
funny because when you really look back, they were great. It's
Yeah.
Episode two is probably the weakest of them all. And I only say that because it was like it had like really dead parts in
Yeah.
the story that didn't need to be there. Like I think like obviously the sand scene, like him with Padme a lot of the time was boring.
Yeah, a lot of the Senate stuff was extremely. They balanced it a lot better in Clone Wars with the Senate stuff. Like they had the Senate involved, but it was done in a more interesting way. where-
Episode 2 is a world building movie.
Yeah.
It's basically building up to what
Yeah.
happens in Revenge of the Sith,
Yeah.
which I understand. The thing is, with all stories that require like, you know, that has a lot of lore, you really do need to have like segments where there's world building.
Yeah.
The only like trouble with that is, can you make that world building interesting to the viewer to where they're not bored?
Yeah, and I think that's what George was trying to go for. He was trying to go for a lot of the world building and trying to basically show like what a democracy looked like and how it could transition into, you know, dictatorship.
Yeah.
You know, because it's he did a perfect job at getting that out there. Although it may have been clunky, dry dialogue. Hey, it's Slash Attack. Hey, we're just randomly talking about
Welcome.
Star Wars. Oh, yeah, like, you know, he did it kind of clunky with the dialogue and whatnot. Like, I know George was really into like doing the blue screen and green screen stuff, so cinematically it was bland at a lot of times, and I could see why people were not super happy about that. And whatnot. And yes, I think what should have happened with the prequels instead, and I know people were annoyed about Anakin being a kid as well.
Yeah.
I think what should have happened was that they should have had Anakin either close to teenager. You know, they should have had him aged up way more. you know, because
Yeah.
in that way, in the second movie, it would make sense of like, okay, this is why he acts this way. Like he wasn't like a young Jedi, kind of doctrinated into this kind of, whatever, I guess religion in their world, they would call it.
Yeah.
You know.
Honestly, like I get it, because like he is like, when it comes to like being a kid, like a kid is cringy. Okay.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times the kid is cringy.
Yeah, they should have, like you said, it's terrible with how it went down. They should have had Anakin as a teenager.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, that way it would be less unbearable. And then once you get to the second movie, you're like, okay, yeah, I can see why he's kind of defiant, or
Yeah.
kind of against what the teachings of the Jedi. Sometimes he's like, why do we do this?
Thing is, like,
why do Jedis do Jedi things?
thing is, like, in hindsight, when I really think about it, like when I really think on like Anakin's growth, I feel like it was necessary to show him as a kid, because we see him as an innocent young boy. But he obviously is a young boy who is conflicted on certain topics and certain things, like losing his mother. Okay? And then we go into the second movie, and he's pretty much not only a kid, but he's not going through puberty. He's going through a lot of different emotions, same thing like everybody else has to deal with it. Only this guy happens to be the chosen one. He's supposed to be holier than thou, and he's expected to be that, but he has nobody to rely on to like express these feelings, because the Jedi are so strict with their code.
Well, yeah, he doesn't have that. Also, he doesn't have Qui-Gon there, which would have been his father
Exactly.
figure.
Qui-Gon could have easily been the voice of reason to Anakin, because Obi-Wan, unfortunately, as great of a Jedi as he is, I don't know if he was the greatest friend.
I don't think he would have been the father figure that Anakin needed.
Yeah.
He was like the brother. He was going to
be
there for Anakin, but
and that's what I meant. Yeah.
yeah,
Like that's what I meant. Like, he's a great brother to Anakin, but he's not like his stability.
yeah,
Like if he needed to talk to somebody, it wasn't to Obi-Wan, it was to Padme.
right.
So it's like, and then we get to the third one, right? Then we get to the third movie, and that's when we see it finally turn its head. We see all the manipulation that was going on between Palpatine and Anakin, like, turn ahead. I feel like it was necessary for us to see that so that we could sympathize with Darth Vader more. But at the same time,
it's like,
they could have minimized some of the dead parts in like some of the movies where it was unnecessary to show so much bore.
yeah.
I think that's the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
And that's a hard thing to balance. It's not.
It's not easy. I think George should have stuck with, because I know George for the longest time wanted to do a Star Wars television series, kind of like what we're getting now on Disney
That's
Plus.
probably the best. That's the best way to consume Star Wars, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think George should have really. I know like people were really pushing probably for him to do a movie, but I think he should have really like you said, like look back and be like, no, I want to do TV, like let's do this on television. But I know he probably wouldn't have gotten the budget to do all that fancy blue screen, green screen stuff that he was doing, because I know he wanted to play with that stuff because it was new, it was shiny. No one was really playing with CG like that, like the way that he was at that time. And now everyone's doing it. Kind of like when Star Wars first came out. A lot of stuff he was doing in that movie, no one was doing, and then he did it, and then everyone was doing it.
I definitely agree. I think that when it comes to Star Wars, the best way to consume it is through TV, because
you have more time.
Yeah, you have more time to develop your characters. You have more time for the audience to get into whatever you're trying to show them.
Because think about it, it wouldn't, because even if Anakin was aged up a bit more, it wouldn't have made that much of of a difference, because I mean, look at Luke in episode 4. He was like what, like 19, 20-ish in that movie, and he still lost, all his family. Very
Yep.
traumatic,
Yep.
very, sad,
Mm-hmm.
event that forced him to want to leave his home
Mm-hmm.
because, well, he really had nowhere else to go, or, no one else to go home to.
Mm-hmm.
So the call to adventure led him to, going down that path, right? So to me, I feel like if they aged him up more, you still could have gotten that innocent side of things, but then you've also could have, I don't know, played with a lot of things that, or at least hinted a lot of things that happened in episode 2, and then, just be a little bit further along the, slightly like,
Child actor does go a long way. So.
yeah.
Yeah, because the child actor, I think for Anakin wasn't terrible, but it wasn't like the best.
Yeah.
But no blame to the guy. But
Yeah.
um,
I mean, the writing of the prequels weren't that great.
the writing of the prequel is also like, if you have like a child actor and bad writing, they're just gonna ask for trouble.
Yeah, it's gonna be bad.
So.
But no, I think if they would have aged him up, it would have. I think you would have been further along the progression, like, of his story, and it wouldn't have been as unbearable,
Mm-hmm.
Because
It's one of those things that you would hope that they would learn from it, but
yeah,
we'll see.
You would see. Yeah, the problem with Star Wars right now is, like, with some series, it's just too excessive in trying to piece a bunch of things together that don't need to be pieced together.
Yeah.
Like, I enjoy just completely new stuff. I love The Mandalorian. Can't wait for the stuff with Ahsoka. Stuff like that it's just on fire, and it's new. It's stuff that we really haven't seen before on the small screen or big screen. Because right now it's just on streaming. But yeah.
Yeah, and on that note, like, one last thing, when it comes to the Obi-Wan series, I was in the camp as well that I wasn't really like, I didn't care much for it. Don't get me wrong, I don't mind like expanding on a character's depth, right? But the thing with Obi-Wan, I just feel like I would have been more satisfied with the show if it actually involved Obi-Wan and not Obi-Wan and Reva. It's not even Obi-Wan and friends. It's Obi-Wan and Reva. Okay?
Yeah, like, if they...
Which is a completely new character who I didn't even know. That is actually mirroring what happened with The Last of Us 2.
Yeah.
The Last of Us 2 did the same exact thing, where you were Ellie, and then you were the other person. And because they split it like that, and that other person happened to kill everybody's favorite character, Joel,
right?
It made it like impossible to like her.
Right.
It made it impossible to care.
Right.
And that's the exact same case with Reva. Reva comes out of nowhere. She's part of the dark side. She gets in Obi-Wan's face, constantly yelling in his face, constantly wanting to kill him. And we're like, why would we want to root for this person when she's trying to, get Obi-Wan? And we know for the fact that she does it because we know what happens to him in the future. We know what happens at his end. So
I think it's lately that's been a weird trope lately, where a lot of these forms of media try to get you to sympathize with the, I guess, antagonist or bad person, and it's like you can't just,
they don't do it right.
Yeah, they don't do it right. Like, you have to, like you said, it has to be really taken slow.
Yes.
With something like that, and that's why, like you said, it made sense, to see Anakin as this innocent kid, and unfortunately all the events around him led him to be what he was in, the original trilogy and whatnot. So yeah, I mean, but you see how many movies it took to get to that point,
Yeah.
It's like...
The thing is, like, when you have a lore that is so deep like Star Wars, you can't just willy-nilly introduce a new character.
Yeah.
No matter who they are, people are going to be suspects of them.
Yep.
And
Because they haven't proven themselves to you.
Exactly.
Like, you know, it's like just a random person on the street trying to like prove something to you, and you're just like, I don't know you.
imagine if in Halo, the Spartan, right?
Yeah.
The main guy that we all know and
Oh,
love.
Master Chef.
Yeah, Master Chef. Okay? Imagine if Master Chef had a buddy that is now with him for his entire journey. Initially, that's going to be taken with like some type of backlash because Master Chief is really like what makes him so special is that he's kind of doing it all by himself, with the exception of Cortana helping him out.
Right.
Okay, but because
It's
now
his-
he has help,
Right.
and we don't even know who this guy is. We're gonna be like, is this guy trying to betray Master Chief? Is he trying to help Master Chief? Is there a reason why he's even here other than for me to play with my buddy?
Yeah. Well,
But-
it also comes down to like people writing these characters that they do place in, and they're extremely unlikable,
Yeah.
and they're confused of why they're not likable. It's kind of like, oh man, like why is this character not unlikable? It's like, well, you've written them to be unlikable. How could you expect people to like this character? There's nothing likable about them. Like, how are you surprised about that?
Yeah. Yeah, no, so-
You know,
Yeah, but
it's like
yeah, like I don't know, like
no one likes this character. Well, you didn't make him likable.
yeah, and people like it's funny because like
Like, why are
if
you
you cry,
surprised?
if the fans cry foul, the fans are wrong. But if the
Yeah.
but if the people that made them sound like say that this is right, then all of a sudden they are right and the fans are wrong. But
Yeah. It's because of us. It's
yeah,
always
because
because of us.
of us, right?
How dare you not like unlikable people? What's wrong with you? Don't you like unlikable people that are unlikable?
Unbelievable.
Don't you want to like torture yourself and surround yourself with unlikable people?
Yeah, like right, like
like,
jeez, I got no words for that one.
right?
None.
Dude.
Zero.
It's clown logic. We're in a
Yeah.
clown world.
Yep. Yeah, and
We're in a total clown world.
only time will tell if they will learn their lesson or if they will continue down their
Man,
path of blasphemy.
man, I swear if they mess up Boba Fett, oh my gosh, I'm totally done. I mean, I'm already kind of checked out already, but man, I'd be really checked out.
Yeah, no, I get you.
Yeah, because like if anything, what they should have did if they really want to introduce Reva, they should have just did an Inquisitor series.
Yeah,
Do a mini or limited or whatever it's called, limited series on Inquisitors.
they wouldn't do it because it's what the problem with Marvel is, which is another story for another day.
They wouldn't do it
but-
because it wouldn't get as much recognition.
exactly. You need a popular name to go to like.
We need it.
Yeah, we need a popular name. Really
I
that simple.
need it.
But on that note, I'm done.
He's going to bed.
I'm going to bed now.
He's
But
he's a
I
baby.
enjoyed this nerd talk. We definitely need to do this more. Maybe like do a cross stream or something, because I do stream as well. But yeah, this was fun. I definitely want to do this again because we've been on for like what 3 hours now.
3 hours. I don't know about 3 hours. It's actually only been an hour and 52.
No way, really?
Yeah, that's what it says on OBS.
Oh my god.
I mean, yeah, that's when I started streaming.
Man, it felt like 3 hours because that was just we
Yeah,
were just talking.
that's
it
that's the curse of streaming.
Yeah.
You realize, oh, it's only 3 hours, and there's like some streamers that stream for 13 hours.
I
a
don't
day.
know how they do it.
13 hours a day.
I don't know how they do it. I really don't. Like in my stream, like if I go like for any longer than 4 hours, and I know I will, I have to take breaks. I
Yeah,
have to take breaks. If I don't take breaks, then it's over.
it's all over. Yeah, it's
But-
amazing what drugs can do. Stay in school, kids.
Yeah, stay in school. Stay in school. All right, Ace Taku.
Yes, that is me.
I will catch ya on the next stream. It was nice. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yep. Thanks for stopping by.
Hmm
You may leave now.
Okay.
Go away. No, just kidding. Like, go away. Leave my domain. Everyone must leave my domain.